Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the Fintech Hunting Podcast. We have a very special guest for you today. He is an industry thought leader, a leading loan officer, a coach, a mentor, and just an all-around great person. I can't be more excited to introduce to you. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mark Hayden. He is a certified mortgage advisor at NEXA Mortgage. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. Glad to be here.
It is great to have you. So, Mark, for those of the listeners that don't know you, tell us a little bit about your background and kind of how you got into mortgage, because you have a wealth of knowledge and experience that spans a number of industries.
Yeah, Michael, I started out in the corporate world many years ago and worked myself way up into an executive position. I worked for a large transportation company for many years. And about 3 years ago, I just decided that I wanted to do something different. So I went, left that position and then got my MLO license and started a new path. And I've been doing it about a year and a half now, 2 years. And I guess it's almost 2 years now. So I've learned a lot, and I've tried to apply some of my previous knowledge to help me do things differently and everything. And that's basically the story.
Well, and I love how you have a wealth of experience. You were looking to try something new. You got in the mortgage industry, but you're smart enough to leverage those lessons learned from other industries and apply that to the mortgage industry. You've been very successful. You're coaching, you're mentoring, you're a loan advisor. So it is great to have you in the industry and really to be able to tap that knowledge and expertise. Tell me, what are some of the key takeaways that you saw from 2021 in the mortgage industry?
Well, I think it was the second craziest year of all of our lives, only being topped by 2020 with it all starting. But the one thing about the mortgage industry is that it has stayed solid through the whole thing. We've been able to still help customers. We're actually, because of the unprecedented low interest rates, we've been able to just provide services that people needed in a time that most of them needed.
Well, and I love how you talk about the importance of providing that service, right? In these challenging times, we're dealing with COVID. There's so many other things taking place. Low interest rates, now they're fluctuating, high volumes, capacity issues, inventory issues. But at the end of the day, people are looking for a place to live. They're really valuing a home and understanding how important it is, whether they're working from home, their kids are doing school from home, that importance of home ownership. Talk to me about, I think you do a great job of the importance of being an advisor. I think so many times people just look at an LO and say, fine, they're taking an order and yeah, they know a few things about the mortgage industry, but you really pride yourself on being an advisor. Talk to me a little bit about how that's different than what a lot of people perceive a loan officer, an originator, a broker being.
One of the things that was always important to me when I started this, and it remains important today, is to be involved in the whole process, to be the person, the go-to person for your customers. So many times in so many organizations, they take an application, hand it off to somebody, and that's really it till the end. And what I try to do is, obviously I have people, I have an LOA that assists me, and I use processors and things like that. But the main thing is I'm there. I get updates every day or two on what's going on. I stay involved. I communicate with my customers at least twice a week. I communicate with the listing and buyer's agent, or listing and seller's agent. I'll say that right. Listing and buyer's agent at least twice a week, and those kind of things. So, I think it's just, for me, it's been important to just, as an advisor, to give them the information they need so that they can make the decision that's best for them, rather than just, try to fit them into a cookie cutter pattern.
Well, and I think providing that information is so very critical. What are some of the big challenges that borrowers face today? Whether, as we wind down 2021 and really we look to 2022, what are some of those challenges that borrowers are facing and some of the advice that you can kind of give them to help navigate those challenges?
Well, I think in the seller's market that we're in, with extremely low inventories and things, that that the originator can play a very key role in helping the buyer be able to get an offer accepted. Traditionally in the past, the real estate agent just kind of goes out, looks at two or three comps, puts together what they think is a good offer. The buyer signs it and they submit it, and usually they would get it. Well, nowadays, as all of us know, it's very different. 20, 30 offers on every listing within 24 hours. You've got to be very strategic in how you do things. And I think that that's where being an advisor really comes in, because we understand what the market's doing. We have a lot of tools available to us to help realtors determine what's a safe offer, what has a better chance of appraising, that kind of thing. And so rather than just shooting in the dark, we're able to put some science behind it to say, this is what's most likely going to get your offer accepted. And then with the knowledge of a good real estate agent and working the listing agent, things like that, we're able to oftentimes get our offers accepted.
Well, and that's so vital. I mean, you've talked to countless borrowers. I've talked to borrowers, and that frustration level when they've lost out on bid 2, bid 4, bid 10, and they're trying to get that home of their dreams. They're trying to get their family in a position where they need to be, and to continue to lose those bids can be very, very frustrating. I think that's why it's so critical to have an advisor who can help them navigate. And it's not just always whoever just threw the most money at the deal. Right? There's different nuances and there's different ways you prepare them. So I love that insight, and I hope our listeners are taking notes. Make sure you go back, jot down those notes. Mark's got great insights and tips there. Mark, you talked about also giving the real estate agent, giving the borrower tools. What's technology's role in being able to make this a smoother, a better, a more transparent process?
You have to have the technology in order to use science. If you want to figure out what a house is truly worth, you've got to have access to those tools. And there's several out there, so mostly subscription services and things like that. But you can't, no more shooting from the hip. I mean, we just can't do that anymore. We can't hope that it works. You just have to have the technology in place. I use 2 or 3 different resources for just determining what a house's value is and what we believe it will appraise at. Are we 100%? No, but we're very high because we do use science. We're not just guessing.
Well, and I love that because the technology, if used right, improves the borrower experience and that personal relationship. It's not to replace a broker or originator or a loan officer or anything like that. It's really to allow them to spend more time focusing on the relationship, providing the key insights. And again, you and I have talked about other technologies, whether it's an LOS, a POS, a CRM. Technology is playing a critical role if people really want to deliver the best experience for the borrower, stay transparent with the agent, because agents want to make sure that they have all of the information that you're sharing with the borrower. Absolutely. They don't want to feel left in the dark,
one of
right?
the things I think that has helped me a lot in this area is, my background for 20 years was executive level IT for a large transportation company. So, I've been able to leverage that technology and how it works. I've used it extensively in other industries. And so I'm able to take the what's available out there, do some research on it and everything, and put together a stack that I think is pretty good for me, that allows me to keep my borrowers informed, that I don't have, they have access to everything, full transparency, even to the documents they've submitted and things like that. So we just try to keep all that for them. And plus it keeps it all organized and allows us to do a better job of servicing them and seeing right where everything is at.
I love it. And again, it goes back to leveraging those past experiences to really add more value to the mortgage industry. We're so lucky to have you in the industry. I'd be remiss. I mean, you have a lot of great insights on the borrower and technology and all that, but I want to talk a little bit about the importance of coaching. We're both affiliated with 2020 Vision for Success Coaching. Tell me a little bit of why you're involved in coaching and why you think it's so important for the other originators in the industry to be involved, whether it's a branch manager, whether it's a mortgage company owner. Why is coaching so important to you?
I picked probably the worst time ever to get into this business. I literally got my license, and about 6 weeks later, I'm not allowed to go talk to anybody. Not supposed to leave my house except for required things, and we were pretty much all under lockdown there, and that made it very difficult to get started. And and quite frankly, I was struggling. I was having trouble getting traction. I was doing some stuff. I was getting some leads, but I just couldn't get anything to click. And I learned about 2020 Vision for Success coaching, and I thought, I've got to do something here. And yeah, I know smart people use coaches because they have a unique perspective that you don't have on yourself. And so I went all in on the coaching. I enrolled and I participated and I listened and I did everything they said, even the crazy stuff I thought, which actually turned out not to be too crazy. And it, things started happening, things started grabbing. And then I had an opportunity a short time later to take a role with the company and help them on a part-time basis and help them manage some accounts and some things like that. And I've just stayed fully involved. In fact, I would say probably 8 to 10 hours a week is involved in some form of coaching and things like that. And, a lot of it's outside of my working hours just because I need to stay busy during those hours. But, the insight, the knowledge, the exposure you get to all these smart people. I mean, you and I've had conversations. I've had conversations with several other coaches. I've learned a lot. I take pads and pads and pads of notes. And, it's amazing how you can take all that and pull it together. And it's really allowed me the opportunity to really sharpen my game.
Well, and I think that's one of the main reasons I really wanted to talk to you. And I think it's so important for all of our listeners to understand. Absolutely. If you want to continue to grow, you have to be a lifelong learner, right? There's no way you can know everything. There's no way I can know everything. I have coaches, I have mentors, and I think it's that desire to constantly be learning that energizes me. I learn from you, you learn from me, we learn from Christine, somebody else is coaching, and it's a win-win. And what I find is it's like-minded people coming together to really rise up and produce some incredible things in the mortgage industry. So it's very fun working with you on that front, and I love how you talk about the importance of coaching. We could go on and talk forever. I have one last question because, I know our listeners are going to go back and listen to this. But Mark, what are some of the trends? What do you see? What's on the horizon for 2022? What should borrowers expect? How important are realtor relationships? Let's kind of wrap up as we're now a day or two away from,
obviously,
the new year.
With what's going on in the markets,
what should people expect in 2022?
And inflation and stuff. I think everybody expects rates to go up somewhat over the next year. And that's always a scary thing because, even though we try not to, in the back of our minds, I think we always have that interest rate worry back there. But I think what it's going to do is it's going to provide an opportunity for those who are learning and using opportunities in front of them. It's going to give them an opportunity to have a unique perspective on what's going on out there and a unique way to approach customers. There's a lot of things during the inflationary times that where all the equity and everything in the homes can be leveraged really easily and save customers a significant amount of money every month and things like that. And I think we just have to be a little more creative and a little more focused on that. And I think it's really important. And again, this is something where coaching has really helped me, is to maintain and develop even more realtor relationships. One of the cool things for the new guys like me is that a lot of real estate agents, their normal lenders abandoned them during the refi boom. They just disappeared because there was low hanging fruit out there. They were picking it, and a lot of real estate, and all my real estate partners right now that I have, that's exactly what happened to them. Their lender just bailed on them, and so, or their originator that they used just bailed on them, and so I've been able to go and foster that relationship. I've done very few refis just because I want to focus on the perfect purchase business, because I think that's the long-term win.
Absolutely. Great insights. Mark, I can't thank you enough for being a guest on this episode of the Fintech Hunting Podcast. All right.